warm welcome to Terri.
Hello, social media people, it works. Who knew? And now I know who the troopers are because you stuck around. And for that, I am truly grateful. I'm really thrilled to be here. Now, in my work, I work with individuals and companies. And at one point I was working with a therapist. No, let me rephrase it. I wasn't working with her as a client. Whatever. She was not my therapist. She was a therapist who wanted to make a difference. She wanted to have a bigger platform. She wanted people to know who she was. She wanted to stand out. And so I had what I call a deep dive with her. And I said, let's talk about you, Marcia, and talk about what you do that's different. What makes you different? Let's find that. And she said, well, I'll tell you what. I am really easy to talk to. And I have a way of making people feel so comfortable that they can tell me their deepest, darkest secrets. And I said, Marcia, congratulations, you're a therapist. This is your job. And if it's your job, it doesn't mean it's your brand. Just because you have a job doesn't mean that you have a brand. And that's important to think about because if you're making money and you have to be earning a living and living your life, a brand is something different. It takes a different kind of investment. Now, there are lots of different people who have big brands, and we're going to look at some really big ones. For instance, you all know this guy, Dr. Oz. If you said, well, what is his brand? We all know he has a hugely popular TV show. A lot of people think of him as an advocate for women's health, and an advocate and someone who communicates around alternative medicines, alternative therapies. I want to remind you that this man is a cardiothoracic surgeon. That is his job, but that is not his brand. Same thing with someone like this woman. How many people know this lady here? You know her? Marie Forleo. She is a hugely successful entrepreneur who teaches and leads in other entrepreneurs. She's the creator of B School, which, again, teaches people how to launch their own online brands. She's done a terrific job carving out a niche for herself. There's a lot of people she teaches who do what she does now. But she's different because we know her, and if you've watched her videos, she's a relatable girl from Jersey. Real funny and kind of wacky and quirky, and we connect with her because we feel connected to her personality. Makes a difference. Now, the reason I'm here is because, well, most branding advice sucks. Let's just be honest. It's a hard thing to teach, and so a lot of people try to teach it, and it ends up sounding like, stand out, be unique, get a logo, you should do social media, you should do Facebook Live. Okay, you just gave me a lot of work to do, and I'm not really sure why I'm supposed to do that, right? I get it. And so we don't know how to apply this stuff or why. And I think that's more important than me telling you to go be better at your brand. That's like if I were a psychotherapist saying, you should all go get professional help. Well, okay, why don't you tell us something that will help us, right? Another challenge is, whenever I talk to anyone about their brands, and of course that is the lion's share of what I do, they're always redesigning their brands. That's why they're talking about it, because they're redoing it. And I just was speaking at a design conference, and a really big deal designer, from a major design firm who designed the Bud Light can, he was like, can everyone just stop redesigning? Because what happens is people feel like they gotta knock their building over and build it again, and knock it over and start fresh. Your brand is a living thing, and it evolves. It changes with your career, with your interests, with what you do, who you are, but you don't change. The key is to understand what unique purpose your brand serves. That's a really big part of this. But the problem is when we think we have to keep starting over. That sounds like a lot of work and something I'm going to put off. So why me? Why am I here? There are a lot of brand strategists. In my neighborhood alone, I live on the Upper West Side of Manhattan, you could pretty much throw a rock and hit a brand strategist. And I know this because I do it from time to time just to keep the numbers down. So there's a lot of people who purport to talk about this stuff. And so then you deserve to know why, what the heck I bring to the table, because it seems easy, everyone can talk about it, right? Well, my background is in trying to get people to read, listen, and watch. I came up through publishing, through writing, actually. I started as a copywriter at the largest distributor of wigs and hair pieces for women. That was my first creative writing job. And then I went on to be an editor at, it's a thing, it's real, and I know everything about wigs, go ahead, test me. And then I came up through and cut my teeth in publishing at Martha Stewart. It was a magazine that existed on its own, an old magazine called New Age Journal, real old. that changed, rebranded, and was sold to Martha Stewart. And she bought it 6 months after I started. So I was like, whoa, my resume cred just went way up. Thank you, Martha. And I spent the better part of a decade